I am Vinnie Tortorich, folks. Your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Yeah, Metallica. Enter Sandman. Yeah. As a matter of fact, there was a famous misogynist in LA who had a show who opened his show with that song every time.
Oh, was it Tom Likas?
Tom Likas, yeah.
I forgot about his show. Yeah. I used to like listening to his show.
Me too. Folks, the voice you're hearing on the other line is the beautiful, the vivacious Miss Anna Vocino. Yeah.
Another known misogynist.
So, yeah. So, all right. So back in the day, but you got to go way back.
Way back.
Howard Stern was on in the morning.
Yeah.
And he would stay on until like 11 o'clock LA time, or even longer. I mean, his show would just go on and on and on. And, you know, everybody was just hooked on that show when it was still on regular radio, as they called it, terrestrial radio. And then you would just leave it on that channel, right? And they would play rock and roll music, and then afternoon drive time, they would go back to a talk show guy again. And they went with this guy, Tom Likas, who, so, you know, your radio is still on because you were listening to Howard Stern. Then, you know, you get back in the car. I was in the car all day long, driving from client to client. At some point, you would hear dun, 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 boom, 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 ba 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 boop, ba boop, ba boom, 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 and he would come on, and he was the kind of guy you would love to hate, because he was trying to tell young men. His whole show was about telling young men the way you get hot chicks. You don't have to be hot. You don't have to have money. You just got to treat them badly, because women love to be treated.
Is that what he said? Is that his message? Yeah, I don't remember. I remember he talked about wine a lot, and so I was interested in hearing what he had to say about Cab Franc.
He had opinions on everything. I'll tell you the day I turned him off and never listened to him again. Like, he said something one day, and I went, okay. I thought he was the biggest idiot in the world with his advice to young men. You know, you make them pay for the date. You know, he was that guy, just a complete a-hole.
He was a shock jock. He was the definition of a shock jock. He just didn't make it as big as like Grease Man or Howard Stern.
Yeah, he was trying to be Grease Man. He was trying to be Howard Stern. And by the way, he was making bazillions of dollars. I mean, you do an afternoon drive.
Was he on K-Rock?
No, he was on the same channel, 97.1 KLSX.
Yeah. Oh.
And I would listen, and at some point I would go, okay, I can't listen to this buffoon anymore. But one day he, a guy was talking, and the guy said, well, Tom, because people would call in and argue with him, because he had a segment called Ask the Atheist. So religious people would call in, and he would just hammer him, which again, I had a problem with. It's like, come on, religious people, don't call us asshole. Don't do this. Don't do this to yourself and to your religion and whatever. He's going to win. You're not going to win, because it's his show. He could just cut you off whenever he wants. Right. One day, some guy goes, well, Tom, for all intent and purposes. And Tom goes, sir, I think you mean for all intensive purposes. And the guy goes, no, it's all intent and purposes. And Tom doubled down on, okay, you're an idiot because it's all intensive purposes. And I went, okay, I can't listen to you anymore. You are just too effing dumb to listen to. You're literally you don't know what you're talking about. You're the ignorant Ramus here, and you're not going to do anything about it. Okay, I'm done. I'm out.
You're done. All it took was one grammar mistake.
Well, it wasn't the grammar mistake. If he had gone away to commercial and said, you know what, guys, the people.
Tom Likas is not going to admit he's wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. He came out of commercial and he kept going with it. Right? He kept going. This idiot thinks it's all intent and purposes when it's all intensive purposes. It's like, oh my God, he ain't kidding. He's that fucking stupid.
He's leaning in.
Yeah. And it kind of reminds me of when I'm on X at night answering people.
Yeah. It reminds you of everybody on X.
Yeah, just to dovetail into, I always felt like my nephew said something to me a while back. He goes, yeah, this woman, she's on Facebook or something. And she goes, why are you looking at my, she's a politician. Why are you looking at my site? And my he's a reporter. He was like, because that's what I do. He's like, she goes, what, are you into me? What, are you a stalker? No, you're putting stuff on Facebook. My job is to look at Facebook and do this whole thing, right? Okay. He goes, I need to tell her this, that, and the other thing. No. Tell her nothing. Tell her nothing. Because the internet is undefeated. Doesn't matter how wrong someone is on the internet is undefeated. Mm-hmm. People could be, I see people saying, I see Dr. Alo and Michael Greger and everyone, oh, you're an idiot. You know what you're talking about. And they're spewing crap out there. And people go, aren't you going to answer them? It's like, no, because no matter what I say, they're going to come back with something else, right? Some other stupid study or whatever.
Yeah. Or something completely unrelated, a total straw man or something like.
Yeah. It's going to be a straw man argument, or there's going to be, I always.
You're not going to win for trying.
And even if you get down to it, like when you start beating them really badly, they run right into ad hominem.
Right.
Well, you sound like an idiot when you speak. Well, I know that. I have a speech impediment.
Yeah, thanks.
What else you got?
Oh, are you shaming people with speech impediments?
Yeah, you see, I don't do that because I don't give a shit.
I know.
Do whatever you want. Dr. Drew asked me one time, he goes, how do you take, you just don't care. And I said, Drew, I played college football. I learned a long time ago that fans are fucking nuts. Fan is short for a longer word, fanatic. That says everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Because you could be sitting in a bar after a game and some guy's going to go, dude, your quarterback, the guy was wide open. Your quarterback, all they did, he just pop it over the middle. He could be 10 yards. You guys could have won. Your quarterback. Okay. So you're telling me that one 19-year-old kid could not connect with another 19-year-old kid 20 yards down the field,
right?
While 80,000 eyes, double 80,000 eyes, 160,000 eyes are on him, yet you probably went out to the parking lot and had trouble finding your own car. So let's call it what it is. Right? But you're all Mr. High and Mighty. Got it. I got it all figured out over here. But that's what always drives me nuts. And I learned a long time ago, when you're sitting in the stands, it's easy to see what the play should be. You're watching bird's eye view. When you're on the field and a 260-pound guy running a 4.75 is coming straight for your neck, you got other thoughts on your mind, right? You're trying to get rid of a damn ball. And that goes for every sport, right? Should have done this. Should have done that.
Yeah.
Which dovetails into, what we're going to get into a couple of subjects here today. Mm-hmm. I had a woman on the Friday show the other day. She's 60 years old. I can't remember right now. It's a very sweet woman. She exercises. She's like me. She's like an exercise nut. But in some cases, she's over-exercising, right? You got to give your body time to rest. she was doing HIIT workouts. And how many times have I said, if you're doing HIIT more than once a week, you're not actually doing HIIT.
Right.
Right. If you could do that repeatedly, right. You want to work on your VO2 max once a week. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna refine it a little bit. After every 5th day, you could do it again. So like 1.25 times a week. Not 2 times, 1.25. Right. So instead of every 7 days, you can do it. Let's say you did it on Monday. Tuesday is 1 day, Wednesday is 2 days, Thursday is 3 days, Friday is 4 days. You could do it Saturday again. Right, on the 6th day, which is 5 clear days away from when you did it, right? And then you can wait another 5 days, do it again. Or you could do what I do and just reserve Friday for VO2 max day. You know, I do a HIIT workout on either the rowing machine or the bike or something. And she was like, well, what about weightlifting? And, you know, what about this one set to failure? It doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. If it feels like you're not doing anything, you're not going to failure.
Right.
Right. It's hard to go to failure on your own. You need a partner. When you can't get another one up, that partner is slowly helping you get it up. And then you're easing it down. And that 30 seconds of your life is so painful you can't see straight. And as Dr. Ben Bokikio said several times, if you can walk downstairs without your legs quivering after one set to failure on your legs, you didn't do one set to failure. Sorry, it's just a fact, right? So it's not about how much you sweat and how much other people see you grind it out. That, you know, you just have to get the nerve reaction to happen so that your brain can go, oh, wait, I got to put more muscle there because Anna is killing me and I need to, you know, break this cell down and double it because we don't know what Anna's going to do next.
We don't know.
Right. And that dovetails into a girl in the gym today. Let's call her Latasha because that's her name. She was saying, if you had to pick one, aerobics or weightlifting to lose weight, the best one to help you lose weight. And I said, Latasha, and she's a vegan, right? I said, Latasha, I'm never going to tell you not to be a vegan. That's not what I do. You want to be a vegan, I'm not going to talk you out of it. Right?
Right.
But if you want to be a vegan, you got to eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables. What are those? Things like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. You want to eat those. She goes, oh, I thought those were bad for you. You see, everyone's got a different idea of what's bad. It's like, okay, it depends on which book you read, right? I said, those are great for you. You want cruciferous vegetables. You need to stay away from grains and legumes and soy, which is what makes up a large part of a vegan diet. You know, she's got a distended gut a little bit, and she was asking me about cellulite. I said, she goes, so what am I supposed to do? I said, fall in love with olives, olive oil, fall in love with avocados, fall in love with cruciferous vegetables. But what about rice? That's a grain. What, I can't have that? Well, sure you can if you want to not lose the weight. You're asking me how to lose weight, right? I'm not going to sit here and baby you because you're deciding to be on a weird diet, a diet that doesn't work. That's not my job. And I'm not going to try to talk you out of it, right? Of course, I noticed, you know, she was like, well, you know, I don't want to kill animals. She had Adidas tennis shoes on. And they happen to be made out of leather, right? So, okay, something died. I don't think Adidas picked up roadkill to make those shoes. So people do make choices. She's not wearing the funky looking, sensible vegan shoes, right? So people make decisions.
Right.
They make executive decisions all day long. It's not for me to try to correct my friend. I want her to remain my friend, right? So I said, forget about working out. It's all about your diet. So we talked about that for another 10 minutes, and I disappointed her over and over and over. Quinoa came up, legumes came up, lentils came up, peanuts, you name it. And she goes, now, when it comes to aerobics versus lifting weights, aerobics is better, right, for losing weight. I said, okay. You need them both for longevity. That's it. They're not going to help you. I've trained people, and I used to say this on the early podcast, and so many people would write to me and go, oh my God, that was me. That was me. I've had people who have come to me and they said, Vinnie, can you put together a routine? I've run a 5K. I've run a few 5Ks. I've run a 10K. I've done a half marathon. I want to now run a marathon. And I'll put them on a 16, 18, or 21-week program, depending on how much time they have before their race comes up. Okay. A lot of those people, when they don't listen to me when it comes to diet, and all I'm doing is putting together the routine to do the race, they will get to the starting line heavier than they were when they started training. Because when you decide to do a marathon, the first thing you do is you go to a running store to buy running shoes. And they have someone with a high school diploma or less standing there using the only term they have in their quiver of words. Oh, you're pronating. We have to put you in a certain kind of shoe. Okay. They taught you to say pronate and you guide people to a certain shoe. That's great. Oh, you have foot problems. Here's a Hoka. You know, we're going to put a fucking mattress under your shoe so that you can walk on that. Yeah. No problem there. But when you're walking out, there's going to be the wall of sugar. There's going to be Hammer Nutrition products. There's going to be goo. There's going to be bars. There's going to be power bars. There's going to be Gatorade. There's going to be Sport Aid. There's going to be every powder and goo and goop and fruit roll-up type crap. All of it just straight sugar. And if you buy a magazine, a Runner's World magazine, it's going to tell you, hey, you're going to run a marathon? You better start carbing up. They tell you how to carb up. And when you think about it, if you do the math, the weeks leading up, the last couple of weeks leading up to your marathon, you might do somewhere between 55 and 70 miles of running. With all of that running, you will still gain weight. I've had people go, started training, running harder and harder. I got muffin top. Never had that before. Yeah, because you can't outrun sugar. Sugar is faster. It's faster than Usain Bolt. I've checked. Again, kind of like the internet, sugar is undefeated. Right? So you start eating all those carbs and it starts building up. You're like a kid at a birthday party. Now, getting back to Latasha's question, what's better, aerobics or wait? She said weightlifting, but it's aerobics versus anaerobics, which is weightlifting. And I said, you know, if you put me on a stage and there were two podiums and I stood behind one podium and I'm going to debate myself, right? If you put me behind one podium and you said, okay, in this debate, Vinnie, when you're behind that podium, you have to defend aerobics as being the best way to lose weight as an exercise. I could go on for 20 minutes and tell you why aerobics is better. And then I can step behind the other podium and take on the question for anaerobics or weightlifting as being the better way to lose weight with exercise. And then I can convince you otherwise. And you go, oh my God, both are compelling. So what's the answer? The answer is yes, both. But neither will make you actually lose weight. All exercise is doing is causing you to enter the fountain of youth. And you need both. You want to work your aerobic engine and you want to work your anaerobic engine. You want both. people will say to me all the time, which one, if I can only pick one, which one? And the answer is yes. And they'll say, yeah, but yes, which one? I'll say, yeah, yes. I can't.
Yes.
It's Sophie's choice.
Right.
Now, I can, the better argument is, at least if you're doing the weightlifting portion, you're going to end up with more lean muscle mass, even if you don't lose 1 pound of fat. Because as you gain more muscle, your ratio, or as they say over in Europe, your ratio between body fat composition and muscle will change, because you're now putting on more muscle. So in the pure sense of the word, that's probably the better one to do. And you're going to get a little cardiovascular work done. You're going to get good circulation and everything else. So if I had to pick one, gun to my head, I'm picking weightlifting. Right? Which is controversial. Or as they were saying, you're controversial. So that's the truth. And that's, if I was to be any more truthful, I'd have to lie to you. Jasper.co/Vinnie.
Ooh, we love a Jasper.
Anna's got one, Anna. Anna, where's your Jasper right now?
I'm going to tell you something. I filmed a video.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on 1 second. I filmed a video because twice in a row, I burnt the bacon. I thought
you knew how to cook.
I don't. Apparently, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Truth comes out in this Jasper ad. No, I put the bacon on a pan 2 days ago. And then yesterday I put the rest of the bacon in the oven. I'm sorry, this morning I put the rest of the bacon in the oven. And I walked away, took a phone call, started doing emails. You know what happened. I burned the bacon. And then the reason I found out is because the first day that it happened, the smoke alarm went off. And the Jasper was whoosh, and it went and it scrubbed the air. Now, usually when I burn bacon, the air stinks. It stinks for at least 24 hours. And it didn't, because the Jasper took over. So look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
That's when the bacon was being burnt?
It was at 265.
It tells you were in the red zone, Anna.
Okay. It wouldn't let me hear you while I was showing the Jasper video, but I'm going to post that video, Vinnie.
See, you reminded me of this. I don't know why. Do you remember this ad, Anna? As Anna goes away, folks, I will tell you, if you want a Jasper and save $300, put in promo code Vinnie, VINNIE at checkout, or you can go to jasper.co/Vinnie. That will also give you $300. The best deal on any of their programs is $200, unless you put in the Vinnie promo code, and you will get $300 off every time at Jasper. Anna, you reminded me of this commercial. We've played it before on the show.
Okay, I didn't know if you could hear me. I was playing a video that I took about the Jasper kicking in when I burned the bacon. It was a whole thing, but God forbid.
It was at 285 or something.
Yeah, it was up to 285. It's usually at 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It went to 285. And it makes me think, how many times have I inhaled some bad air over the years that I wish that I had a Jasper 30 years ago?
Yeah, look, I mean, once you burn something, you got all that oil, that becomes basically a carcinogen in the air.
Yeah.
Right. And like you said, you said it during the ad. I've burnt, even if I don't burn bacon, if I just cook bacon, my house smells, and I cook bacon a lot of mornings per week. So the house always has a smell of bacon, or it used to. Now we have a Jasper in my office, and there's one upstairs, and somehow that's enough to clear out the whole house. It doesn't smell like bacon all day long. Anna, do you remember this ad? I'm going to run it. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, run it.
All right, here we go. Let's see if I can pull this up.
'Cause I'm a woman. I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan, and never let you
I feel like have we talked about that one before?
Oh, we have. But when you
Yeah,
go,
it's good.
I burned the
Yeah.
bacon. I was like, I could bring home the bacon, fry it up in the bacon. Yeah, it's funny. They used to just do ads about perfume, right? And that was around 1978, 79 when women's lib, women started burning their bras in the mid 70s, which is stupid because then they got jobs and they need to go buy a new bra, right? It's like you can't show
Yeah,
up
no,
to a job with floppy titties.
I don't think that
have
you
a-
should burn your bras. Bras are very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, and they seem to last a long time. I mean, Serena doesn't seem to buy them very often. They go forever. And, but I was like, oh yeah, we're going to burn our bras and we're going to be free. And then they all went in the office and the first thing they had to do was go out and buy clothes and buy another bra.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like,
that wasn't the message that we wanted it to be.
Gloria Steinem, I don't think you were thinking through that, telling women, hey, go get a job, burn your bra. Right? It's akin to these kids today, and these kids today. They get the big gauge in their ear and the hook in their nose, and they got tattoos all over their neck. Right? And I'm not hiring that person. I used to hire a lot of people in LA. I'm gonna be honest with you. They would come for job interviews to work at purevitaminclub.com or whatever. And if they had tattoos everywhere and I had someone without a tattoo, guess who, and it was equal, guess who got the job? The non-tattooed person. Sorry. I'm looking at you going, this, and I know I'm not supposed to judge, but we judge. Everybody judges every day, all day. Right? Bottom line is you make bad decisions. I know that because I'm looking at your neck. I'm looking at what you did to your earlobes. You make bad decisions. I can't hire you. So think about that, folks, before you start putting tattoos on your face.
I don't think anybody under the age of 50 is listening to this podcast.
Well,
I think we're okay.
Yeah, but they're probably all agreeing with me right now. Yeah, Vinny's right.
Yeah, them young kids.
Yeah, those
with
kids
their tattoos.
With their tattoos and gauges
and holes in their ears.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ. All right. So anyway, what were we talking about?
Are we going to?
Wait, Anna.
Uh-huh.
It's my mom.
Is it Marie? Let's talk to her. See how she's doing.
Hang on. Anna, talk. Do a Villa Capelli. Yeah, let me see.
Okay, Villa Capelli is the best olive oil on the planet. You guys, I just wrote to Villa Capelli because I can't even say what it is, but it's so exciting. We're going to do a really fun collab. We're going to do a collab. I know that Villa Capelli collabs with Vinnie because he uses Villa Capelli olive oil in his vitamin D. I use it to cook my dinner, and it's delicious. And if you use the discount code Vinnie, you'll get 10% off your order each and every time you place an order. We always say, make sure you try to get your cart size to around $140, $145. Then you use the discount code Vinnie. You'll still, actually, I think it needs to be around 145 or 150 because we need you to qualify for the discount, but also qualify for free shipping. This olive oil is next level delicious. And for a premium extra virgin olive oil, it's a fraction of the price of what American companies are charging. And the fact that they can get it over here is a huge coup. They will not sell it in the grocery stores. They will not sell it anywhere but at villacapelli.com. Use the discount code Vinnie. You'll get your 10% off.
So there you have it.
Apologies in advance. Internet, national internet.
All I could do is try.
Yeah.
I'm still trying over here. I don't want to change.
I know you are. I know you are.
Yeah, I'm not
doing
going
the Lord's work.
Yeah, the board is working. We're recording. I'm happy. Okay, Anna, what are we talking about today?
Okay, so you already were kind of touching on it, but I would like you to do, it's been well over a year, and you already talked about HIIT, running and triathlon 101. Also, I want you to talk about, because I know the yoga, Pilates, and stretching thing is not as long of a 101. So, I mean, I know we're already well into the show, but if you could do a 101, and when I say a running and triathlon, what I mean is somebody who, let's say they now have been doing NSNG for like 69, almost 90 days because it's March. Right. And they're excited, like they're feeling that thing where the energy's coming back on. They want to exercise. They want to maybe do a 5K. and they want to work up to it. Or maybe somebody used to do 5Ks. Now they're thinking, I'm feeling good. I'm running for 4 miles. I'm running 5 miles. I'm going to do a 10K. And then eventually, how do people start training for the half marathon situation? And I know you do training programs, and people should call you if they are going to do an intense.
Yeah. All right. So here, I'm going to tell you what I get mostly, right? So running is one of them.
Yeah.
It's wherever there's a charity event, right? Running.
Like you doing the one.
My wife, my daughter, my whatever had blah, blah, blah. And there's a charity and I want to run. I've never run in my life. I'm a couch potato. I want to run. I get that. Hey, I just ran my first 5K. I want to run a 10K, or I've just done 5Ks and 10Ks. I want to inch it up to half marathons. And all of this stuff is a doubling, right? So a 5K to a 10K, that's double, right? 10K is like 6 miles. Half marathon is 13, so that's doubling again, right? So everything is, and you go, oh, you're just doubling. No, it takes a lot of work. The same with cycling, right? People go, hey, I'm going to dust off the bike and there's a charity ride. You can either ride the 10-mile fun ride, or you can do the 25-mile or the 50-mile, or they have the century, the 100-mile ride, and these things are usually for charities or whatever. That's what I get mostly. The hikers, right? Someone will do a couple of hikes and then they get motivated, because hiking, to be honest with you, is the most fun, because you're just walking through nature, and
it's beautiful. Yeah.
You're like walking through this, just through beauty. I mean, people say to me, you don't get bored with hiking? It's like, I've never been bored on a hike. Ever. Right? I mean, every time you turn a corner, you're looking at something different. Right? So hiking is another one I get. I've been hiking, I worked it up, now I'm doing this. Now I want to do rim to rim to rim. That's from one rim of the Grand Canyon, going all the way down to the bottom, going up the other rim, and then going back down and coming. That involves camping sometimes at the bottom. I know some people, some ultra runners who have done it, nonstop. People do it nonstop all the time, but those are super duper athletes. Or people they could be out in California. I'm going to go do Whitney. It's the highest point in the lower 48. I'm in Colorado in Aspen area. I want to do Maroon Bells, or I want to do Saddle Peak, or Saddle Peak, or Electric Pass, or any of these 13ers and 14ers that are over there. So hiking is a big one. The key to all of these, folks, is you have to start where you are and you can't rush it. And I know he's like, what is he talking about? My friend Dr. Drew would always say, you got to meet reality on reality's terms, right? You can't let your big alligator eyes overtake your bird brain, right? You can't, you got to.
I've never heard that. What does that mean? I like it.
We go, oh, I see this on the internet. I see this influencer doing this. It happens a lot with that guy. He's a really great influencer. The Navy SEAL guy. You got to stay hard.
Goggins.
David Goggins, right? You got to stay hard, right? And I get what Goggins is doing, and I love that he's motivating people. But a few years ago, I went out, and this race just happened last weekend. Again, my buddy Chris Kosman, who has the Badwater 135, he also has one called the Badwater Cape Fear, which is a 50-miler, and a lot of it is on the sandy part of the beach. So you're running through deep sand. Serena did it a few years ago. She said it was tougher than any 80 or 90 mile or 100 miler she's ever done.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Or 100K.
I bet.
Yeah, it was. She said it was just ridiculous, right? And it was that first year that book came out by David Goggins, right? And he's like, I broke my leg, and I just put some duct tape on. I kept running, right? I'm exaggerating, right?
But that's what, yeah.
Yeah, I had a compound fracture. I just spit on it and said, "To hell with it. I'm running." He's a tough mother effer, right? The guy's like a Navy SEAL and a Green Beret. He's done it all. Yeah, David Goggins is no joke, right? And I'm out there and I'm seeing all these new faces, right? Because I've been around ultras forever and I was sponsoring the event. So I was there and I know all the people at ultra events. They know me, right? We're a small community. I'm seeing a lot of guys with chin strap beards. You know, the kind of guy, you know, kind of heavy set, got a little extra fat on them. Not the kind of guys you normally see at the starting line of one of these races, right? Not the sinewy, looks like they need a meal person, right? These people were a little thick, the chin strap beard guys, the funny facial hair guys, you know, this kind of thing. And I'm watching these guys as they're coming around on each lap. They look like shit. They are, it's like, my God. And I was proud of a lot of these guys. They finished. They didn't finish in any kind of great time, but when they looked like they went through a meat grinder by the time they were done. And I was proud of every one of those guys that finished. But I asked Chris, I said, Chris, all these new faces. He goes, oh, they all read Goggins' book. And since Goggins talks about, you know, Chris Kostman's races, and this is one of Chris's races where you didn't need to qualify for it, they all went to Bald Head Island to Cape Fear and did that one, right? So they would finish because they were young, you know, young, dumb, full of cum, right? They can just do everything.
Right.
But I always tell people, you know, start with the 5K, even if you have to walk most of it. And then do another 5K and see if you can run more of it, because you're training and you're getting, you know, you got to harden your legs. You got to harden your soft tissues. You got to harden everything. You got to get into it, right? Run 3 or 4 5Ks. Even if you can't find an event, make an event for yourself. You're training anyway. Say, this Saturday, I'm running my own 5K and I'm doing it on time and I'm going to do the whole thing. Pretend you're doing a 5K, but run 4 or 5 of those as events. And then start looking at a 10K. But before you find the 10K, start training for the 10K. See, the problem people have, and this is the part you really have to listen to. They'll be at a 5K and someone's going to go, hey, Anna, there's a 10K coming up in 3 weeks or a month.
You sign up because you're so
and
excited.
You're sitting there going, I'm in shape. I just finished my 3rd 5K. It's only 3 weeks away. Well, guess what? You need a week after you run really hard just to recuperate a bit. And then you should have at least 10, 12 weeks of training up to get to the next level. Yeah, it's double. A 10K is double, right? And you go, oh, it's just 6 miles. Okay.
Right.
You're going to have to do the same thing with the 10K that you did with the 5K. You might want to run a couple of miles, walk a little bit, jog some more, walk some more, and get through 3 or 4 of those, right? Love to learn the training. Love to learn the process. This is coming from a guy who did ultras for the better part of 25 years. Learn to love the process. There's no reason to want to get there overnight. When you get there, you want to start finishing these races. You want to go across that finish line with a smile on your face. You don't want to look like you went through the meat grinder. You don't want to look like these kids on Bald Head Island because they read a book, right? They can do it, right? They can injure their knees a little bit. Guess what? They're young. They're going to come back. Most of us aren't that young. You need to protect your body. You need to get the proper amount of work, and then you need, even more so than the work, you need to rest. Everything comes during the rest portion. That's when your body builds up. It's just how it works. It's just how it works. So that's what you need to do. And then after you run a bunch of those, if you want to start going towards a full marathon, I would say if you're in half marathon shape, the bare minimum should be 18 weeks. The max, I mean, there is no max. Bare minimum is 18 weeks. I would like to have 21 weeks to get someone ready. And that's someone who ran a couple of half marathons. But if you're scheduling it going, okay, it's coming up in 10 weeks, I need to rush and get ready, that's when you start burning out. That's when you end up on the couch. Oh, you might do the race, but you'll start hating it so much that you'll end up on the couch. And that's not where anyone wants to be in life, right? You don't want to end up back on the couch. Going back to Chris Kostman, he and I talked about this a bunch. And by the way, Chris knows ultras. Not only is he the best promoter of the biggest ultra races in the world, he did the Ram. He was the youngest guy to finish Ram. So he finished Ram when he was 18 years old. The guy that broke Chris's record was not even born when Chris set the record. Like Chris held that record for like 25 years until a 17-year-old came along and beat it. Chris is one hell of an athlete, right? When it comes to these long distance things. And we both talk about, sometimes you'll see people, they'll finally get up to that ultra level where they're running 50Ks and 100Ks, and then they get to the 100-mile mark. And then they feel like they can't let it go, right? They can't let themselves come down. Oh, I'm in shape. I have to keep running another race and another race. And next thing you know, they burn out.
Right.
And they end up on the couch, gaining weight, never doing it again because they literally burnt out. You got to take your time in these things, folks. Life has got to happen.
Right.
Right. You can't do it in a hurry. Am I making sense here, Anna?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just wanted to make
Absolutely.
sense.
Well, then do you want to touch on Pilates, yoga, and stretching real quick, or do you want to do that as a separate?
I think we should give that its own show because, because I want to add, when we talk about, write this down, Anna. Can you write something down for me? When we talk about Pilates, stretching, and yoga, I want to talk about solid core, bar, Orange Theory, all of those with it because, I think these programs are all good. If they motivate people to go and do them,
great.
But I see people doing things. Well, I'm close to some people over at the Solid Core in my hometown, and I see some mistakes people are making, and I've helped them correct their mistakes, and they're getting more out of it now. See, Solid Core won't tell you you're doing too much, right? They won't tell you. They want you to keep coming because they get paid every time you go.
I find most gyms where there's classes and the teachers won't tell you you're doing too much.
No,
that's what I found. I think most trainers don't want you to. They're not trying to take it easy on you. This has been my experience. They want you to go hard because they're not necessarily doing zone 2 training. A, B, they want to show how different they are and how tough they're showing off for the class.
They're sure. Yeah. Because there's no sweat off their back. I knew a girl in LA. Her name was Hillary, but they called her Killery because she was so hard.
Of course,
right, all the time.
She was a killer. Hard.
Yeah, she was the killer, right? And this was long before Peloton. Like a lot of these studios would ask me, "Hey, would you come in and be a guest to do a spin class? We'll pay you like $1,000 to be a guest spinner, right?" When they pay the teachers like $50 a class. And they was like, "Oh, come on, we could draw a lot of people. If you come, we'll give you $1,000 to come spend for an hour." And I was like, "No." And they're like, "Why?" I was like, "Because I would just have them in zone 2 the whole time. I'm not going to have them standing up and sitting down and switching back and forth and the whole thing. I'm just going to sit there and tell stories while we do zone 2.
Right.
And you guys, that's not what you want. So keep your $1,000 and I'm going to not come and we'll do that.
I'm going to not attend.
Yeah. So we'll all be comfortable and happy. And that's the way that will work. But yeah, write those down, Anna, because that's all a show in and of themselves. Because people ask me about that. What about Orange Theory? What about Solid Core? What about bar? What about hot yoga? What about Bikram? What about beep? So I think we should do a whole show on just those.
I'm all about it. I love that stuff. Because I always like that you say the best exercise is the one that you're going to do. Yeah. And I always felt really relieved when you said that I could do the those things that you just mentioned because I enjoy doing those things more than running.
And by the way, since we're going to be talking about stretching in that episode,
Mm-hmm.
let's throw balance in there too. If you're gonna,
Great.
you know. So that'll be, folks, tune into the next show because it's going to be chock full
Chock
of useful
full.
information. And
Chock
maybe we'll
full.
figure out how to get Marie back on.
Oh, I so miss her.
Yeah, there was some kind of screw up with this with the soundboard here, but supposedly it was put together and fixed. And I kind of want to look and see. Hang on. Now, let me see if the thing is plugged into the right thing. Yeah, it seems to be.
You're gonna try it, but you know what? It's time to wrap it up.
Yeah. Wait, hang on. Now, let me look at something.
Okay. Oh God. Don't tear that board up. We're still recording. I feel like what he's gonna do, he's gonna Hulk out on that board and just break it.
Oh, I've been known to fuck up a board or two.
You will Hulk out and those gamma rays of rage just kick in and Vinny just hulks out and takes that board. I want there to be just an Instagram account of you just hulking out and breaking shit. That's what I want.
I fucked up a Mackie. It's almost impossible to do, right? Yeah.
Or is it? If you're Vinny Tortorich.
I can fuck up a Mackie.
Yeah.
You give me a Louisville Slugger, I'll show that Mackie. Yeah.
The Louisville Slugger is the names of your left and right hands, bent into fists.
Oh God, that Mackie did not fare well.
No.
No, and it was brand
Every
new.
time I hear you go, well, I got a new board, I know what happened. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Me and electronics.
Why didn't Serena take video? That's all I ask. I'm not going to post it anywhere. I just want to see you get Hulk out on a Mackie board. That's all I ask.
Every time we get new electronics on here, Chris just
I know.
goes, oh Lord, oh no. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we first moved into this house, remember they put the Sonos in my office? They were telling me how great the Sonos
don't
is.
even start to tell the Sonos story because you're going to get mad.
I finally, like Crutchfields is in this town. That's where the original Crutchfields is.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a guy assigned to me, like the head manager.
Just to handle you.
Yeah. And
that does not surprise me in the least.
I said to the guy, he came over and I said, okay, I've asked you to take this Sonos. He said, Vinny, we've never seen this happen with Sonos anywhere else. It works while he's here. He would walk out, I'd turn it on again, and it would just delaminate it. So I would just go nuts. So I said, listen, help me out. Let's grab all the Sonos and let's take it out to my fucking garbage can right now and throw it away. If you're not going to take it back, I'm throwing it in the trash.
Yeah.
He goes, sir, it's thousands of dollars. It's like, I don't care how much it costs me. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And he sat down. He goes, you're that serious? I said, listen, this is the guy's name. By the way, the guy's name is Chris also. So Chris goes,
poor Chris.
Okay, what can we do to make you happy? And I said, Chris, I said, back in the 70s and 80s, you would have these speakers. They're about 4 feet tall. He goes, yeah. I said, do they still make those? He goes, yeah. Big stereo speakers with the big woofers and a big subwoofer. I want a big box, a big subwoofer. They still make those? He goes, yeah. I said, okay. I want 2 of those right next to the big screen television. 2 big columns. He goes, which brand would you like? I said, I want the brand. I can tell you which brand.
Not Sonos.
No.
I could tell you that much. I want brand, not Sonos.
I got something called Clips or whatever.
Okay.
All right. I feel
like you're adding consonants where there aren't any.
It's like KLISPK.
Clisps.
Yeah, Clips. Look up Clips speakers.
Clips or clisps?
No, Clips. All right. So I said, I want the big
clips.
And I said, I want the ones in the rafters behind me. I need surround sound.
Right.
And he
Fair.
goes,
You do.
but he got this look on his face. He goes, those have wires. I said,
Great. What's wrong with that? What's
He
wrong with
goes,
that?
He goes, we got to run those wires in the wall. I said, yeah, I know. He goes, you know that cost. I said, yeah, the cost is not the thing. It's a one-time cost. They're not going to be coming once a week to run wires. It's a one-time cost. I want speakers hardwired into my
Also, you
television.
drill holes in the walls and you feed wire through.
Yeah,
It's
they drilled holes.
somehow easier than Sonos will ever be. I
Yeah,
also hate
Sonos
Sonos,
works
by the
off
way.
of like magic or something. I got a subwoofer. I got two big giant. How do you say the word? Spell it, Anna, for the audience.
Klipsch. KLIPSCH.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah.
And the two of them, they're up here, and I got the big subwoofer, and I have a receiver, like it's a 1,000,000-watt receiver, right? I can rattle all right. So Anna, that receiver also connects to Bluetooth. I could put music on my phone and run it to that receiver, and it's like I have an album, in there, right? And that receiver goes to those big speakers. I don't even need to take my earphones. I could go walk 2 miles from the house. I could turn that loud enough and leave the windows open. I could hear it all through the neighborhood, right? When I watch football, it sounds like I'm in the stadium, right? I could do stadium sound. I could do all kinds of stuff. Guess what you can't do with Sonos.
Right.
Couldn't even get it to work. Couldn't even get it to turn on. Right? So
Right.
I'm a hardwire guy. Reminds me of a song I'm going to play. Got me thinking of a song, Anna.
Okay, great.
We're going to end this podcast with a song. See if I can find it. Most people don't even know this song. Here we go. Here's the song right here. I'm going to be playing this. And folks, we're going to play pretty much, not the whole thing, but we're going to play a good amount of it so you guys can hear what it is, because apparently I'm not the only person with this problem. Okay? Everyone laughs, but I'm telling you, certain people, the phone doesn't work right, the computer doesn't work right.
No, my husband. Lauren,
I think it's Italian.
I think you guys have a different electromagnetic field than the rest of us.
But it's true,
No,
right?
I am not doing a bit. You guys are wired differently. There's going to one day be, the electromagnetic spectrometer camera that can photograph what's happening in your electric field, but it is not what happens with the rest of us. I'm telling you, and I mean that sincerely.
Remember Bill that used to work for the show?
Yeah.
The guy is like one of the best sound guys. He works at one of the biggest studios in the world. He would go, Vin, I'll just come over to your house. It's simple. He would come over and he would start staring at things going, I've never seen this before. Gary, remember Gary from the Adam Carolla show that produced?
Oh, Gary. Yeah, Gary. Yeah.
Gary and I became good friends because he was always over. He's like, Vin, I'll just come over. I'll set it up. He would come over and he would just throw his hands up and go, what did you do to this thing? It's like, Gary, I took it out of the box and set it there. Where do you think I threw it? You think I threw it in the pool? What do you think I did with it?
I think you're secretly hulking out on everything and not telling us.
I'm not. I don't. It's like I'm very
not.
delicate with things. I built a kayak. I'm good at doing delicate things.
You are.
Right? I'm good at puttanesca. I could tell you that. Eat Happy Kitchen puttanesca. I'm really good at that.
Did you know this won pasta sauce of the year? Did you know that?
No, I
did.
Didn't.
You know that?
I did not.
In 2024, this won pasta sauce of the year. The puttanesca sauce did. In the Shelfie Awards. The Shelfie Awards are put on by Startup CPG for emerging brands. We beat out hundreds of other sauce brands, and we won for our puttanesca sauce. And I'm so proud of that.
You want an award-winning gravy?
Yeah.
You go to Eat Happy Kitchen. I want to try the thing I saw you talking about on the line.
The soup with the cheese bites?
Yeah, you put the cheese bites and then you put the crema over.
I would not do that with puttanesca. Puttanesca is great
right?
with the fish, with the meatballs, if you do eat pasta, but I eat like spaghetti squash. I would do marinara or pink crema. Okay. Here's what you do. I put a video about it on my Instagram and my TikTok. You take the marinara, you dump it in the pan and you heat it up. Take a cup of the chicken broth and you heat it up. Get it nice and hot. It doesn't necessarily even have to be boiling, but you're going to pour it in. I like to pour it in the Vitamix and pulse it so it's smooth. Then I add a third a cup of cream because I like it to be a little bit creamy.
Oh, creamy, yeah.
Okay. And it's basically like a tomato bisque soup, but you only have 3 ingredients. You don't have to season it. You don't have to do anything else to it. Okay. Then you take a bag of cheese bites. I recommend white cheddar and onion for this. All 3 of them taste great for different reasons, but that's the one I use and you dump the whole bag and you let it kind of sink in and then you eat it like soup. And then when the bite that you take tastes like you're having a bite, like you took a grilled cheese and you dipped it in your soup. It tastes like tomato soup and grilled cheese in one bite.
Anna,
it's so good.
You know what I'm having? Like mine has not come in yet, my cheesy bites, but I think they're coming tomorrow.
Okay, good. USPS, get it together. Get it together.
I've been waiting for a pair of hiking shoes to get here forever. Like, for whatever reason, everything is taken. So as soon as they come in, I'm doing that because Serena's in California right now doing the acting thing. So I'm batching it right now.
I filmed that video, Vinnie, and I thought I'm going to film this video and then I'll turn off the camera and then I'll make dinner. And then we wound up just sitting there eating that for 2 of us, and we were totally full.
That was it.
It was great. Yeah, that was it. Now, I mean, ordinarily I would like to have some chicken or some steak or some protein with it, but just we were full. And then that was it. And I was like, great, I don't have to make dinner. Well, easy.
Yeah.
But I would like to make one that has like an extra protein. I mean, obviously there's protein in the cheese, but I would like to make it with chicken too. I bet that would be good.
I'm having one
a rotisserie chicken sauce. And do that tomato soup, and then you add some shredded rotisserie chicken. Put the cheese bites. I'm going to keep going. Is what I'm saying. I'm going to keep it going.
Stop. Don't stop.
Can't stop. Won't stop.
Yeah.
Vinnie, I have to say this too. I went into my grocery store and I saw a new brand of mayo, and I was so excited because it was made with olive oil. And then I bought it and it was $12. And because, I'm trying everything because we're going to do a mayo next. It won't be for a while, but Eat Happy Kitchen, I want to do a mayo. I want it to be clean. And then I get home and I taste this mayo and I was like, why does it taste like a dessert? It tasted like a dessert mayo, if there even is such a thing. And I looked, and by the way, this is by a huge food company that's really well respected. Should I just say what it is? Should I say it?
Sure. Yeah.
Garza, Garza, they do the squeeze bottles of olive oil. I was excited they were doing the olive oil mayo. It had sugar in it.
Why?
Sugar in the mayo.
Why?
It tasted so bad. And I was like, well, all right, I guess that's what happens. I spent $12 on
a recipe I made. Oh, I want to tell you off the air though.
Okay.
I'll tell you, remind me after this.
By the way, here, if I could just say this about business too, there's this brand of $13 tortilla chips. Okay. I saw them at Erewhon first and I rolled my eyes so hard, but you roll your eyes at everything at Erewhon, right? But then I started seeing them in other stores and I was like, what? Who's selling $13 tortilla chips? Then I talked to my business advisor, my strategic advisor, Brian, and he says to me, you know what? Those guys are doing 40 million in sales a year. And you could have seen just like smoke come out of my ears and like my blew my stack. Because I'm like, how are they selling $13 bags of 2 ounces of chips? And people tell me my cheese bites that are made with amazing ingredients are too expensive. Grocery stores are going, nah. Customers, nah. But
Well,
they're doing 40 million a year. Now that shit is where anger motivates me because I want to
Right.
prove everybody wrong.
What they're doing is that same thing. Speaking of Peloton, right? We were
Yeah.
talking about
They
classes
take a
while.
shitty thing and then triple the price.
Yeah, like they were trying to sell Pelotons for like $700. No one bought it.
Right.
So some marketing person said, "Hey, make them $2,000." And then people are going to go, "Wait a minute, that's a $2,000. Must be worth it." Oh, and it comes with a class. And that's how they got Peloton off the ground. They were dying, they were dead, and they just went, "Hey, let's make the most expensive piece of shit bike in the world." And that's what they did. That's all they did. That's all you need to know about the world. PT Barnum.
There you
said,
go.
"Oh,
All right.
Barnum."
Well, if you want to help us get to 40 million in sales,
Go to
please buy
eHappy
our
Kitchen right
go to
now.
eHappyKitchen.com.
And
By the way,
buy
we're nowhere
everything
close
Anna has.
to that.
Buy it all. You know what to do with us, Amazon. Before you go there, go to VinnieTortorich.com, click through the banner. If you want the workout, go to VinnieTortorich.com/workout. And there's 3 workouts there. Turns out I thought people would just buy the workout they want, but if you buy 2, you get all of them for free. I said that wrong. So the workouts are like $50 each, but if you buy 2, you get the 3rd one for free. So
Okay.
we basically only sell the full package. I never
That's
would have
good.
thought that. I thought, oh, if people have a family, the son might want to do the 6-day, the husband might want to do the 2-day, and the wife might want to do the 4-day or whatever. I thought some people might. I told Chris, I said, I'm thinking 25% of the audience is going to buy the 2. It's like 94% or 95%. It's nuts. Everybody buys these workouts. So if you want to get in shape, go do that. We were talking about my problem with the digital world. I do live in an analog world. So we're going to go out on this song.
Good.
Anna probably doesn't even know this song exists. On behalf of Anna Vocino, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living and do it with Mr. Joe Walsh.